happy days. Just about to say how peaceful it is. And the doll's kicking off again. But it is peaceful. I can hear a jet ski out in the bay. But otherwise, oh, I don't know what just went crunch under my foot. Bit of stone. Right, that will do for now. Another gorgeous picking. Oh, let's see. Yay, happy, happy days. Right, let's have a natter. Oh, noisy beggars, aren't they? Excuse me, I just had a sneezing fit. Yeah, the racket girls right now, they're the ones that live 2 doors down from me on the chimney stack. Put a cushion out, get myself really nice and comfy. So, I'm going to bring you a bit forward. Yeah, we'll ignore them. Well, not so much ignore as just acknowledge them. Hello, and carry on anyway. How are you all? I hope you're well. I am. Just making the most of a bit of sunshine, a bit of peace and quiet. Yeah, bit of sunshine, bit of warmth, because, oh yeah, we're creeping, aren't we? We're creeping towards autumn, and you know there will be, I hope, some really lovely days, but nothing quite like my favourite time of year, summer. Oh yeah, excuse the washing. Just making the most of sunshine and a bit of a breeze. Right, I've got a ton of props next sitting with me. It's like I've brought the basket of random chat out here with a rock as a paperweight. Oh, haircut, that can wait. I'm not doing my haircut out here. Oh, that can wait. Oh, I know, let's start with in entertainment news. So a little bit of TV and a little bit of critiquing, or let's be honest, a bit of criticising. But the other evening, I sort of finished everything I wanted to do a bit earlier than I anticipated. I'd finished a book, didn't fancy starting a new one yet, went to my pile of DVDs, thought, what can I entertain myself with? And I chose an absolute classic, which I'm quite, and now the dog is going to kick off, I'm quite sure the vast majority of you will have seen. Just trying to do it without reflection. To Kill a Mockingbird. The 1962, I think, production, with Gregory Peck playing Atticus Finch. Oh, it's just sublime. I mean, let's face it, it's a great book to start with. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Can't remember which year she wrote it. A beautiful story behind her writing it. All her friends clubbed together to give her enough money to cover her for 1 year to quit all work, all jobs, and just focus on writing. So they paid for her to live for a year, and in that year she wrote To Kill a Mockingbird. It's such a beautiful story. It's a book I adore. I've read it at least once in every decade of my life. The first time I read it, I was in my last year at junior school, so I would have been 10 or so. And like I said, I've read it in every decade subsequently. It's stunning. Reading it as a child, I certainly didn't pick up on all the really tough, horrible themes in the book. The racism, the racism. But as a kid, I just loved reading about Jem and Scout and their adventures, and having that fear of Boo Radley and going to the creepy, scary house. It was brilliant. the shooting of the rabid dog. I didn't understand what rabies was then, so I just thought they were shooting a dog. Shock horror. But then, of course, reading it as an adult and then getting all those myriad nuances. Yeah, I'm sure I'm preaching to the converted here, aren't I, to either read it or watch the film. Beautiful, beautiful production. It's quite slow and quiet. It's just a little bit over 2 hours, but I feel like they give all the moments enough. Who directed it? Screenplay directed by Robert Mulligan. I don't know Robert Mulligan as a director, but yeah, each moment is given it's sort of given its time. I'd watched the film years and years and years ago, probably maybe in my 20s, on a VHS tape in those days. And I'd forgotten how brilliant it is. So if you've read the book and loved it and you've never seen the film, if you can get hold of a copy of the film, do. It's beautiful. Utterly engrossing. The performances by the children, the kid who plays Scout, who is like the little girl, the little sister, she's just brilliant. The bit where she's inside the ham costume and all we can see are her eyes. I won't give anything away in case you haven't read the book, haven't seen the film, but there's a bit of a scary moment, and she witnesses it through this little slot for her eyes, and yeah, she's brilliant. Oh, these are really random bits today. I'm just going to dive in. Randomness. Random bit number 1. I was thinking about this because I'd been to Wareham recently. So Wareham is the next nearest town. I mean, it's hardly a town. It's tiny. It's also commonly called the gateway to Purbeck because as you come through Wareham from, I was going to say the mainland, but it almost is. As you come out of Wareham heading towards Swanage, you come across a causeway, and it's all the flood meadows, the flood plains, the water meadows, that's what I'm trying to say. And yeah, there was definitely a sense of coming to a different place as you cross the causeway. So I was thinking about this again, that we're bound on 3 sides by sea in Swanage, but to the north, never eat traded wheat, to the north-northwest is the River Frome and the River Piddle, one on the north of Wareham, one on the south. The River Frome's the main one, and it tips out into Poole Harbour. It's a beautiful river. It's a chalk river, a chalk stream. What starts as a chalk stream, chalk river. And I happened to know, I must have heard it somewhere a long time ago, I can't remember where, but I knew that chalk streams, chalk rivers are actually incredibly rare habitat. We need to look after our chalk rivers. So I knew that they were rare, but I didn't know how rare. So I thought, I'll do a little bit of looking up, and I'll do a choke-up chicken, and I'll share with you. So, in the entire world, there are only 200 chalk rivers or streams. 200 in the entire world, of which, this is staggering, 85% of them are in the UK. 85%, that's, in other words, 170 of the 200 chalk rivers and streams in the entire world are in the UK. That means there's only 30 elsewhere. I don't know where the others are, should have looked that up. But yeah, it just goes to show, doesn't it, this is a really rare habitat, really precious habitat. We should look after it. And, you know, if you're ever visiting this way, if you're up in Wareham, you can hire a little boat. The river is navigable from Poole Harbour. It's navigable pretty much all the way up to Wareham, and then there's a bridge, and then from that point on it's sort of small rowboats, that sort of thing. So, and it's a lovely row if you get the chance. So it's on the very south side of Wareham. Like I said, the river in a way is a boundary. The two rivers are the two boundaries. And Wareham's so tiny you can't get lost in Wareham because there's North Street, South Street, East Street, West Street, or whichever way the camera puts those. That's it. It's like that. It's a Saxon walled town. I should take you there one day and tell you a little bit of the history, and we'll have a little walk around. But it's a really tiny town. It might even be smaller than Swanage. Famous for its effigy of T.E. Lawrence, the T. Lawrence connection in Dorset. Okay, this is leading me nicely into another, where have I made my jot? Oh, there it is. Another little bit of trivia. This came out of Carnival. Because after the carnival, so Swanage Carnival takes place over 8 days. You saw a little bit of it. It's great fun. And it was a week or so after it finished, and I was thinking in terms of, I believe that Notting Hill Carnival, 3 days, Notting Hill, it's gone. Yeah, anyway. I think Notting Hill is the largest street carnival in Europe. It's probably beaten though. There's probably a carnival in Rio that beats it, and maybe Mardi Gras in New Orleans beats it. Anyway, doesn't matter. I was kind of cogitating, Swanage Carnival in terms of how does it compare. And it is one of the bigger ones in this country. So 100 plus events over the 8 days. Amazing. And I went to about 5. Just, you'd have to do, it'd be a full-time job. Be more than a full-time job to see and do everything. But the thing that really gobsmacked me was the estimated number of visitors each year for the carnival. 250,000 people, 250,000 people in that week. Now, a lot of them come for the day and then disperse. But do you remember I was saying to you, we are a population of, it's around about 9,000. So that's between 30 and 40,000 visitors a day. So that's quadrupling the population. Yeah, it's busy. Oh, and the last one on Carnival, another little interesting fact. Once upon a time, Carnival chairperson, the role was held by Enid Blyton. So, I know there's plenty of connections down here. So, for example, Brownsea Island, which is a decent-sized island in the middle of Poole Harbour. Again, it's a wonderful place to visit if you ever get the chance. Loads of nature trails, lots of, in high season, in the sort of school holidays in the summer, there's lots of activities on nature trails, and they do insect trails and this, that and that. But it's also known for having one of the last pockets of red squirrels in the UK. So there's a pocket there. There's a pocket on the Isle of Wight. I've seen them on the Isle of Wight. I've seen them on Brownsea. I'm not sure if there's still a pocket of them in Pompei on the Lancashire coast. When I was a kid, we used to go with nuts. We used to go and feed the squirrels at Pompei. And I think probably, I'm trying to remember now, but I think there are some still in parts of Cumbria. And are there some still in Scotland? Maybe on some of the Scottish Isles? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, Brownsea Island, in the middle of Poole Harbour, before I start talking about red squirrels, is the, I can't remember which, Enid Blyton used it as inspiration for, I know a couple of, I can't remember it's Secret 7 or Famous 5 books, but is it the inspiration for Kirin Island? Something like that. Anyway, she was chairwoman of Swanage Carnival one year. Love that. Oh, okay. Yeah, this really is random. Back to entertainment for a moment. A couple of things I've watched. Well, I started to watch and then, not great. One was a series on, I think these are both on Channel 5, so you can watch it on the Channel 5 hub. It was either Channel 5 or Channel 4, but I think Channel 5. Just go online, go on your computer and key in is it called something else now? But if you put in Channel 5 Hub or Channel 5 Freeview TV, something like that, it'll come up. So the first thing I watched, because I saw it when I went onto the Hub one day, it came up, it's like, oh, new series, great, okay, called The Secret Life of Trees. I think it was either 3 or 4 parts and narrated by Michael Palin. To look at, stunning, there were some sort of aerial, I guess, drone shots, especially, you know, in autumn when the leaves are starting to change colour, or spring with, say, the cherry blossoms we think of in Japan. So some stunning photography or videography. Loved it. But in terms of learning anything, I found it really, really simple, dumbed down. I would say maybe when I was 10 years old, I might have liked it. The breeze is picking up my wisps, excuse me. Yeah, if I was 10 years old, or when I was 10 years old, I probably would have liked it. But this is on primetime TV. This was on, I think it was broadcast, but of course when you watch the Hub you can watch it at any time, but I think it was the 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the evening slot. So this is prime time for maybe 10-year-olds, but certainly adults. Anyway, yeah, I was really disappointed by the actual script, by the imparting of information. It was very, very surfacey. Yeah, there was absolutely zero depth to any of it. What a disappointment. So I watched one, didn't bother with the rest. But while I'm thinking about it now, so that series was called The Secret Life of Trees. By all means, watch it for the visuals, but don't watch it thinking you're going to get an education about trees. You won't, you'll know it all already. However, if you do want an education about trees, The Hidden Life of Trees, hidden rather than secret, Hidden Life of Trees by Peter Walburn, the book, I think it was last year, Nikki sent to me. Thank you, lovely. Hello, lovely. It was one of my top 5 books last year. It was absolutely brilliant. So much depth. Absolutely brilliant. So much depth to it. I learned so much, so much. I then gave it away, passed it on to a friend who said, did I want it back afterwards? I said, oh no, keep passing it on, keep passing it on. I wish I'd said, no, can I have it back, please? Because it was so in-depth that I feel like I could probably read it again now, a year and a bit later. And I will have remembered tons of it, I'll have forgotten some, so kind of cement all that knowledge again. Anyway, so that's Peter Walburn. His surname is spelt, I think, I've just scribbled this down to remember to talk about it, so it might not be the correct spelling. W-O-H-L-E-B-E-N, Walburn. The book is called The Hidden Life of Trees. Well worth it. Ignore the TV show, not worth it. And also, in the same time frame, a show called, I don't know if I've written this down correctly. Oh, glug, sorry. I think it's called Pompei Life, as in Pompei, you know, the archaeological site, the town that was covered when Vesuvius exploded. Pompei Life, 4 parts, I think, and it's presented, it's in, oh, little sparrow, hello, little sparrow. It's in 4 parts, and it's presented by Dan. So it's in 4 parts, I think, presented by Dan. I'll try again. It sounds like one of my. Oh my goodness! Right, now I'm going to try again. Yeah, it sounds like one of my neighbours is a bit poorly with a cough. Anyway, I was talking about Pompei Life, and I think it's in 4 parts. Dan Snow presenting with another historian. Her name is Kate, I think. I'm sorry, I don't remember. And again, it's a little bit, Channel 5 have gone a little bit, just generally dumbed down. However, with this show, I would kind of make an exception and say it's worth watching anyway, because I've never seen any shows about Pompeii in which I've seen quite so much of the site. So in the past, when I've watched programmes, it's usually they're focusing on a bit of a dig that's going on because it's continually being excavated. In fact, there was one, I think maybe 3 years or so ago, 4 years, again, maybe even Channel 5, might even have been Dan Snow. But it's very much focused on, we're seeing the pumice and they're sweeping it away. Was this series, again, it's called Pompei Life. Oh, the life of a YouTuber. Oh my goodness, I went out there and it was peaceful. And I sat for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes before I thought, right, come on, let's get these tomatoes harvested, let's do today's video. And honestly, just turned the camera off. I don't know how many times now, just this one, there was like constant hacking, this horrible wet hacking cough. Please see a doctor. On the other side, it's like clanking rubbish and what it's like. Oh, I just wanted 5 minutes of peace and quiet in my garden. Move to Swanage, they said. Move out of London. Move to the peace and quiet. Anyway, look. Pompei Life. I'm going to shut up on it now. I think it's well worth a watch because, like I said, we get to see so much more of the site of Pompeii. I had no idea of the scale of it. I mean, it's the whole town and they've excavated so much of it. So this programme was really interesting because we'd get an overview, or again, you know, drone shots, and they'd sort of do little dots, almost like it's a map, saying these were all the different bakers, these were all different bars, these were all food places. It really, for the first time ever watching a programme about Pompeii, I got a real sense of what that town had been, the lives of those people, just how big and busy and yeah, crazy. So I highly recommend it from that point of view. But in terms of the information given, again, it's a little bit, I mean, you know, come on Channel 5, we are not 10 years old anymore. This is not an Usborne book for kids. Please, please make our brains work. Give us brains something to do. Anyway, but otherwise, visually, it was great. Last couple of things. There's a book I want to talk about, but it's pretty darned controversial and it's going to spin me out in all sorts of directions. So I think I'll do that. If I get some peace and quiet later, I'll do it. I'm going to do it as a standalone video because it is incredibly thought-provoking and I think it's something, yeah, we all need to think about. So I'll finish in a second, but this is one of those random things that I observe when I'm watching TV or films or whatever. And it might have come out of watching an episode of Vera because I'm kind of going backwards and finding any of them that I can to watch. I'm thoroughly enjoying them, having not really liked the first 3 or 4 episodes I watched. Paul said, stick with it, give it a go. I just didn't like her character. But I'm so glad he said stick with it because I really like it now. And I know that, do you know what? I think whenever you mention Vera, or whenever I've mentioned Vera in a video, almost everybody, yeah, Vera, love Vera. So my next, might have come out of Vera. I watched quite a lot of American stuff too, things like Law and Order, and I like the Law and Order UK as well. These are really old episodes now, going back to the 90s, some of them, but I still enjoy watching them. Blue Bloods, I came to Blue Bloods really late. I've only found Blue Bloods this year. Did they start filming in about, I don't know, 2010? Anyway, something that struck me, and it's in all of them, and now that I'm going to mention it, you'll be saying, some of you will think, yeah, I noticed that too, and others will think, and next time you watch a cop show, you'll go, oh, look, it's what Vivi said. The number of times I've watched a cop show and within minutes, Midsummer Murders, they do it too, within let's say the body's been discovered, so we get our lead character, whether it's Barnaby or Vera or whatever, they go, they see the body, you know, in situ, out in the woods, whatever it is, and then they go back to the cop shop, back to the police station, and they start to make their kind of incident board. And they start to put up photographs of all the suspects. So let's say a woman's been murdered, so the prime suspect is always going to be the husband, or is it her lover? And then, then there's the sister. But what about, you know, the guy in the village that everyone knows is a wrong un? So they start to put all these pictures up of all their suspects, and they'll have a picture of the crime scene, and maybe a picture of the house where she lived, maybe a picture of the walk, you know, an aerial view, maps, what have you. So they do all that. And I'm sure you'll agree with me so far, this is pretty much standard format for most cop shows. What occurs to me though is, and I've often thought this, I'm just mentioning it now, but I've been thinking this for years, where did they get all the photos from so quickly? So for example, they might have 4 or 5 suspects, the lover, the butcher, the milkman, whoever. They've got all these different suspects that they're just starting to think about. They haven't interviewed them yet, we haven't seen them yet, they haven't gone and knocked on their door. So how come they've got a photo? It's not anyone that's in the system. These aren't criminals. This is just, the sister or the brother or the auntie. And they've got these perfect 10x8 headshots of all their suspects. Where from? I just think that's a little bit, sorry, I've got a really itchy nose. I think I've just rubbed tomato tar on my nose and it makes me itch, but my hanky's outside. I beg my pardon. Yeah, next time you watch a cop show, just see how quickly, after they come back from finding the body and they come back to the police station and suddenly they're putting all these photos up. Where did they get them from? Just like, am I being too fussy? Am I being too picky? I just think that's a little bit of laziness on behalf. That's either a writing thing or an editing thing. It's like, it's just there. It's just appeared as if by magic. Never mind. Yeah. Oh no. I was going to talk about AI. Definitely not going to start on that one. No, I'm going to just mention it very briefly. In the news a couple of weeks ago, and it's causing a little bit of controversy, and I heard a little bit about it on the radio, a company have used an AI model for, I can't remember which, is it Guess? It's a clothing company, but they've used an AI model. And this is going to lead actually into the book I want to talk about. And it just makes my heart sink because, yeah, within seconds, my brain is firing off that it's not just the fact that by using an AI model, you've put a model out of work. It's all the other people associated with that job. So, you know, I mean, this is one of the sort of high-end clothing lines. They would quite often, they will employ a location scout. That's someone who's their job is to look for locations. So you don't need that with AI, so no location scout. Then you would have a location manager of some description. So if it's a British company, but they're going to be shooting in, I don't know, the south of Italy, you'd have someone to manage all that. Now you might say, well, isn't that better? There's no air travel. You could do it in this country. But so no location scout, no location manager, no hairstylist, no makeup artist, no clothing stylist, no lighting, no photographer's assistant. I'm not quite sure in the modelling world, but you know, like you would have in TV, you'd have runners, that sort of thing. There are myriad people employed within that world to do a photo shoot, myriad people, and you know, it's a pretty I can't think of the word now. I'm not dodgy. what's the word when the work isn't guaranteed? It can be sort of, you know, one day you're working and the next day you're not. You might not work for 3 or 4 weeks. Then you've got tons of work for 3 or 4 weeks. Not even seasonal, but I think you're getting my drift. It's a bit up and down. So you grab the work when you can, and you're always looking for even things like the model has an agent. So the modelling agency, there's a vast number of people involved in doing a fashion shoot, and they've all been rendered useless on this occasion by a computer. And I know people are going to say, oh, but you'll have the computer designer, the computer programmer, someone has designed that program, and someone is going to design the model. Okay, couple of people. But yeah, it's a really worrying trend. I noticed, I don't know, a couple of months ago on YouTube, I'm starting to hear loads and loads of AI music, and I refuse to watch any channel that uses AI music because they are putting musicians out of work. So I'm not going to support you in your kind of, I mean, it's tough enough. It's tough enough working in the arts, working as a musician. I've got friends who are session musicians. I know how difficult it is. So yeah, I think we're on a really slippery slope here. And yes, I acknowledge there are going to be some amazing applications for AI. But it can't be to the detriment of jobs. We cannot. Look, this book I'm going to talk about, one of the facts that it outlines is that the government's own report, this has come from the government, this isn't conspiracy theorists and whack jobs online. They've said that within the next decade, next 10 years, up to 25% of jobs will be gone to AI. That's a quarter of the population, a quarter of our workforce will be out of work. What are they supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? We need good jobs. We need jobs we need to work. We need to work, do something even mildly fulfilling, earn a living. It doesn't have to be a fortune, but earn enough so that we can support ourselves and feel actually like we have a meaningful place within society, and that we're making a meaningful contribution both by way of our income tax and our national insurance, but also by the thing that we make, perhaps. The music we compose. We want to be useful members of society. Yeah. I'm going to leave it at that one there today. And I'm Pollyanna, and I'm pretty optimistic. And I know that, for instance, there is starting to be really quite a big resurgence in what we might call heritage crafts. More people than ever are interested in apprenticeships in, for example, thatching, as in, roof thatching, putting thatch on a roof. Maybe people are already starting to future-proof themselves, and I really hope young people are. I hope more young people than ever are opting to go into the trades, because there are some jobs which computers will never be able to do, such as bricklaying. Well, I hope they can't. But, dry stone walling, hedge laying, thatching, these ancient crafts, that might be the safest option for a job in the future. Anyway, and there'll come a point where even someone like me making my little show here will just become obsolete. Will be, who's going to want to watch a real person with all their human emotions and their fallibilities and all their interruptions from neighbours, when you can watch a slick computer-generated show that's perfect? I don't want perfection. I want messy, unperfect humans, please. It's thought-provoking, isn't it? All right, lovelies, I'm going to leave it there for now, and I'm going to go back and sit in the garden. I've got some chopping. Oh no, I've got to process my tomatoes first. Get the tomatoes processed, washed, chopped, blitzed, into the freezer. Then I'm going to go back to the garden, sit and do some chopping of branches. That's all I ever do. Chop branches in the sunshine, make the most of the sunshine while it's here, and never mind if my neighbours are making tons and tons of noise. It won't matter, I won't be filming. Alright, gorgeosities, I'll see you all soon. Until then, please take care of yourselves. Cheerio.